In today's episode, I'm going to break down how to monetize your minutes. How do you actually maximize every minute of your day to make sure that your business revenue is growing and you are getting the most out of your time? I'm on a mission to teach coaches and entrepreneurs how to make more, work less, hire their funnel, and let the funnel do the work. If you're ready, join me on Monetize with Marcus podcast. Welcome back to another episode of Monetize with Marcus. Monetize with Marcus, we focus on how to help coaches and entrepreneurs make more, work less, hire their funnels, and let their funnel do the work. You know that the funnels are not just pages. Come on, it's not just email. It's the journey that you map out to take someone from being a complete stranger to knowing, loving, and buying from you. That's overcoming their objections. That's positioning your offer. This can be done in an automated way that allows you to make more while working less. So that's the premise of the podcast, to make sure that we're providing valuable information to you that teaches you how to do this. So before you say like ClickFunnels or like Cartrail, like any of these things, those are softwares. I want to make sure that you're staffed with what you need to truly grow an online business. See, the Monetize Online Business Blueprint. Where my shot at? The Monetize Online Business Blueprint. That's what it's about. Well, today's episode is near and dear to my heart, right? So you'll see on my jacket and on my shirt something called Win the Day, right? Years and years ago, way back in the day, 2010, I created this concept called Win the Day. That's my company. It's called Win the Day Marketing Group. So my company is named after it. I wrote a book called Win the Day. It's the first book I released, sold over 10,000 copies. You can find it everywhere, right? But here's what was important. I was one of those people that was a professional procrastinator. What's a professional procrastinator? It's someone who's mastered the art of doing things last minute. Like you can skill, and here's how you know you're a professional procrastinator. It is where you have convinced yourself, right? You convince yourself that you work better at the last minute. No, you don't. You just procrastinate. You're like, I work good under pressure. No, you don't. You just wait till the last minute to do things. And the problem with this is you're probably one emergency away from having to be selfish. What do I mean? If you procrastinate and let's say a family member has an emergency, you have an emergency, someone needs something from you, you got to choose between you and them, right? So procrastination never works out well. So during this time, I realized in 2010, this was years ago, I wanted to find a way. Now, it's both faith-based too, so I'm going to tell the story of kind of how it came. So I graduated high school at 15, 16 years old. Well, 16, excuse me. Graduated high school at 16, went off to play basketball, so on and so forth. Dropped out to start doing business. I was doing everything from club promotion to tax deeds is what we got started in with real estate, and started just really trying to learn business. I had a cleaning business. I was hustling, really. That's really what I was doing. If it made money, I was hustling and doing it. So we had contracts with the Navy base to handle their parks and rec services. So I would hire the referees. Let's say if I was paying them $15, I had a contract that gave me $40 a game. I made $30. They got paid $15, but I didn't even go to the site. And it was games going 4 nights a week. And I had that with the Navy base, with all the recs in Panama City, Florida. So I had money going from that. I was partnering with condominiums and hiring people to go and clean them. Had money coming from that. I was refereeing myself, had money from that. So I was hustling. You feel me? So long story short, I was able to do pretty well, with different businesses and with real estate. I bought my first house at 19 years old and was doing well. By the age of 21, going to 22, I had one goal to have $100,000 in the bank. Looking back now, you really lose money sitting $100,000 in the bank, but I didn't know no better. I just like looking at it every day, like how much I got in there, how much I got in there. Right? You realize like, yo, you know what you could have done with $100K with ads and marketing, like knowing what I know now, right? But thank God I got a second chance. But here's what happened. Bought that house, 19, began to get into real estate, do some other things, and overextended myself. Y'all know how it goes. Recession hit, and banks were pulling people funding. They was like, yo, you got to make good on all these loans at one time. Like, let you overextend it, bro. Let me see what you got. And from that, man, just bad investments, not knowing any better. I went from 6 figures all the way down to a couple years later to $11.37. And I had to figure out, like, who was I outside of the money? Who was I outside of the money? And I didn't really have a skill set. I realized that. Like, I had this natural gift of being able to hustle and make money, but I really wasn't skilled like that. I didn't know what I wanted to do for a living. I didn't know how to build a business. I know how to hustle. 2 different things. Like, I know how to hustle. I know how to build the structure of a business, how to be consistent with it. So, like, man, I remember I'm a faith guy. Y'all know this, man. I'm faith and funnels all the way, you know. And I remember riding around mad at God. I was like, yo, how you let your boy go broke? Like, how you let me go? I was all the way up. How you let me stumble the bag, be out here begging? And I remember clear as day, man, it was having one of those days where day after day I couldn't feed myself. I mean, car about to get repossessed. You know, I don't know who's listening to this, but it's easier to not have anything than to have it and lose it. Like if you've ever been up and had some bread, to go from that to nothing is harder. Right? I was struggling, man. And I'm from Panama City, Florida, boy. My nickname back home was Money Mark. Well, Money Mark ain't had no money. Just drop the money, just call me Mark. Drop the money, just call me Mark. So here's the crazy part, and here's what brings me full circle to this whole piece. This transparent episode. What brings me full circle to this whole piece. That's when I got this idea of, man, what's the one thing, like, how can I make it to where I increase value in myself? Like that I never get to a place that I can lose money and not have something that I can add. Because truth be told, I had money, but I was poor because the only thing I had was money. The real value is when you are able to produce income by adding value to other people's lives. So you not just have the money, you have the brand value that you can sell anything. This is why, like, a brand is more important than money, because if you got a valuable brand where you've proven to people you can serve them, every person that you know of that's extremely wealthy has multiple streams of income. Like LL started with rap, then went into acting, whether it's T.I., whether it's Master P. If we move out of rap, whether it's LeBron, whether it's Jay-Z, they started with one skill and then diversified into others because what they built was a brand, right? So whatever they sell, they're trusted. That's when I realized that's an investment into themselves, that they can reach inside themselves. And what a brand really is the essence of you, right? The intangibles and the tangibles. The intangibles might be personality, persona. Some call it energy. People just like your vibe. Then the tangibles is what you actually deliver on, your skill, your talent, right? So it's people who will work with you, not just because other people sell what you sell, right? But it's just something about how you deliver it, the essence of what you are, how you break it down. So here's what a whole win the day. Here's what I did. Here's the concept. I was so serious about money, and I was an athlete. I played basketball, so I took I remember I told you I was a procrastinator. So here's what I decided to do. I took the hours in a day and turned it into money and started tracking it, right? So I made it to where every hour in the day was worth $100. The whole day was worth $2,400. Just easy math, right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to write a check to myself every day for $2,400. Every hour is going to be worth $100. Before the day even starts, I'm going to create a budget that I'm going to invest in specific areas. And here's how simple I did, because I'm a TIFE guy. I'm a Bible guy. I'm a TIFE guy. I said, I'm going to invest 10% of the day into my gift and into myself. So that was 2 hours and 40 minutes. Now, to my mathematicians, I know it's a little different. You know, well, technically, follow me, man. All right. 2 hours and 40 minutes. This is all I did. So every hour is worth $100. The whole day's worth $2,400. Off rip, I'm like, I owe me $240. All right. Off rip, $240 belong to me. I was not going to expect people to pay me what I didn't pay myself. So 2 hours and 40 minutes belong to me, AKA 240. Anything less than that, and I lost the day. See how it goes? So I just started competing against me every day with this whole, how can I monetize the day? How can I add a monetary value on time so I start respecting time? Because I would give certain things my time that I wouldn't give my money. But then I would say time is money, right? So I spend 3 hours watching a television show, but if they charge me $300, I wouldn't give it. So I started mentally getting in the habit of placing a value on time. That's what monetizing your minutes is about. So when you start placing a value on time, right? So 2 hours and 40 minutes, every day I would focus on reading. I read 52 books that year. Like, I was getting out there. Focus on reading. And here go the dope part about when you start something like this. Week 1, week 2, you got to focus on doing it. But when you get into a whole month, you don't want to break the cycle. It's kept you going. Now, here go the crazy part. That was October 10th, 2010. We are now, 12 years later, and I still every day do this. Now, I do way more than 2 hours, but it started with 2 hours and 40 minutes as a basis, right? So you think about the 10,000 hour rule, and you realize if you just monetize the minutes and said, I'm gonna take 10% of the day, and invested it back into my personal education, into learning, into, let's just say you're a mom and you're watching this and you say, I want my values to line up with where I invest my time. So I'm going to take 10% of the day and focus on spending time with my kids. You just increased your value. You increase your value to your children. I'm going to take 10% of my day, or let's say $100 of my day, and invest it into working out. This is a simple way to monetize your minutes to get more value out of your day, because you can literally treat it like a budget and say, every day I'm going to invest 100 into reading, 100 into exercise, 100 into time with my girl or time with my guy, right? Just like that, that's 400. You still got 2,000. If you see it that way and treat it like a budget, let's say you created an Excel sheet, you're going to look at the end of each week and be able to see, where are you in the red? Where are you in the red, right? And it breaks procrastination. It allows you to now place you have more of an emotional connection to money than you do to time. But when you can build the two together, you can monetize your minutes. I'll end by telling you this. Every hour is not an hour. Like, every hour is not an hour. Like, time has no value other than the value you place on it. What do I mean? So back in the day, I remember when, I'll end with this. Back in the day, I remember when, what is that show? Scandal was out. And people used to have Scandal watch parties. Y'all remember that? Everybody wanted to be gladiators. Olivia Pope. And they would have them Scandal watch parties. And people would sit around the TV, build their whole day around it, have food ready, have popcorn, invite people over. And for 1 hour straight, if you called them, they would, girl, I can't talk right now. Scandal on. So they had undisturbed focus for 1 hour. Every week for an entire season. Let's say a season of a show is 12 weeks or 16 weeks. That means 16 weeks, every week, I'm dedicated, undisturbed focus, 1 hour. Now, do you realize that if that person would have even gone to college and decided to go to school for 3 hours a week, they would have literally had a passing grade in a class moving towards a degree? Or if they would have dedicated that hour into exercise, they could change their whole body. 1 hour each week into learning, they could change their whole life. What I'm telling you is every hour isn't an hour. The same hour that has been dedicated to watching TV, you could place into anything and produce a result and drastically change your life. So the hour spent here versus an hour spent somewhere else, it's not time that changes your life. It's where you focus your energy and how you monetize that by placing value on it, right? So to my entrepreneurs, to my coaches, I hope this episode helps you. Like, use this exercise. This is what I did. It changed my life. And that's why you see Win the Day. It is where every day I owe me 2 hours and 40 minutes, anything less than I lost today, right? Super dope. It changed my life, and that's why I wrote a book about it, like the principles of it. That's why I built a company surrounding it. Reminds me every day to increase my value so I increase the value that I add to other people's lives. Because if I increase the value of what I know, when someone has a question, I can answer the question, but I can also increase my money by increasing my personal value. All right. So just follow this exercise. I just want you to just start out and begin to place a monetary value on every hour of the day and begin to track it like you would with your bills and write a check to you. Pay to the order of me, shouty, me. Right. And at the end of each week, I want you to see, does where you are allocating your time and your money line up with your values and what's most important? Because you do not want to grow a business bigger than you grow yourself. Let's focus on adding value into ourselves. I will see you in the next episode of Monetize with Marcus.